go, yeah. Yeah, me let it go. Master Jesus, let it go. Yeah, me let it go. Go, 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 go. Oh, let it go. I'm tired, let it go. Give your heart to Jesus. Let him take control. Just sit and worship. I know it hurts you, and I know it's painful. No way to wait, so you have to let it go. Your best friend is not your secret enemies. Let it go. Your wife is getting married to another man. Your husband are falling in love with another woman. Don't let it bother you. I've said let it go. If someone overlook you because you live in zero, if they insult you because you don't have nobody, if you say you will continue to be a zogo, if you say you will continue to be a prostitute, if you say you will continue to be a beggar, you will not marry, you will not bear your own children. If you say your knee is borrow, Sunday go to meeting, mommy can say no, Johnny Ginger. Just let it go. Jesus will change your story. Let it go. 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 Lord, help me let it go, man.
Yeah. Mighty blow. Holla. Nobody do it like you do it, you a true God. Yes. You always hear me when I say my prayer with few words. But Jenna said, if they plenty in this new world, read the power every day, now while I'm still a good boy. Jehovah bigger than your problem, so just let it go. Just keep on praying, he will make your blessing overflow. To be the best and more the rest, you gotta pray more. The God of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, the God of mighty blow. But there is power in your blood, now while I'm giving praises. Yes. I gotta dance that dividends, they think I'm getting crazy. But love is how you make it better, may not be here. Say every time I sing, I'm on my knees, begging God for mercy. Thank you for your love, blessing, and forgiveness. You solved my problem, Lord, you took me from the wilderness. Now only you can feel my struggle when I'm really stressed. So my papa bless me, then my enemy, they get the best. No matter what the problem is, man, just let it go. Your delay is not your denial, everybody know. Just keep on trusting in Jehovah, he will give you more. He took me from the grass, he can take you from the rock and roll. Yeah.
So we want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. I'm Afonso Zayan Sort of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv.
Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Oh, let it go. Let it go. Lord, help me let it go. Your people are suffering, lying in the hospital, suffering from all kinds of sickness. Lord, help them. That sickness that reviling you, I say, let it go. The barrenness, pack your load and go. Living the life of joblessness, let it go. I say, you spirit of suppression, let it go. Spirit of denial, spirit of depression, let it go, man. Oh, I'm tired. Pack your load and go. If you're picking, take your chemo. Let it go. Your best friend, take your horse.
That's a voice out of Minister Jemima Walker is fading away right here. It's on the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. I am Afonso Zayan. So how many of us willing to let go? We always like to be like the Israeli. You'd hit me, I hate you more harder or triple than what it should be like. So the minister is telling us we must let it go. We want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. Today is Friday. What been happening in the news cycle the rest of the week? We're going to cap it. And of course, our analyst is going to bring in your talking point, and you as well, our viewers and listeners across right here. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the show. I'm Alfonso Zienso. Okay, we want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. I'm Alfonso Zienso right here at the New England Bureau Desk. We say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Just whatever you are, we want to salute you. We say thank you for sharing your evening with us right here from the New England Bureaus of the Liberia Public Radio. Our team of contributors, analysts standing by cross country. They will be joining us. This is the billing that is heavily been contested for. The guy with the broom, the guy who say after in 100 days some magical development will take place, and there are others who defending their political hold on to power. What do you think? Have you actually decided who you're really going to vote for? And what are you considering ahead of 2023, very consequential election? You need not to be told. All you need to do to pay just a little bit keen attention to what is unfolding in your country and be able to make an informed decision. There are proliferations of network, which of course is the beauties of modern civilizations, and with the creations of this genuine social media that have given birth to us to exercise and express our views and our opinions. Well, how well have this been expressed? There are some there with the red meat, and some there strictly for political to hold on to political power. And so politicians do everything possibly they can to get their message through. Where do you stand? What are you considering? Have you made a decision? On what basis you have come to a conclusion? Do you have specific from these politicians, the political leaders, as to how they're going to do it? And not just saying it by mouth, but how it's going to be done systematically. Are they providing to the basic information to needed, to required to turn the wheel? Or is it the same old way making political rhetorics and get their way power? Well, the best of commentator, analysts. And by the way, the Liberian World Today returned this Sunday right here at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 4 p.m. Eastern local time in Liberia. It will be aired on our sister networks, Sky FM and TV. My guest this week, we told you it's going to be a company. The Liberian World Today will constitute all segments of the Liberian society. We can bring anybody. It is time to make all voices heard. And we're going to be doing it. Dr. Stephanie Forte will be my special guest right here this Sunday. She launched what I call a major literacy program in Liberia. She is a founder of a change agent network involved in multitudes of roles. What is this strength, energy is coming from? Well, someone who here perhaps is going to take on is an educator, is a scholar and contributor of his network. But he is politically minded as well. A soccer player can turn to politicians, business tycoon, retire corporate war, turn to politicians. Why scholars who mold the minds of the young generation? Why not? All right, yeah, that's it. The uncertainty in today's world is just how you can define it. You can't just make a decision. Sister Goya is standing by. In fact, he's what? He's involved in the politics here. But he support the guy with the broom. our understanding he's going to be coming. Is he bringing that broom or is it a new broom? He right now scrambling and on his way to a battleground named McCounty, his own backyard. Because that don't be the argo. Make sure you solidify your political grip right in your own backyard before you go to Bond County and even Moserado County. Because if you can't get that pie in your own backyard, then I don't know how you're going to be. Time is already going. Yeah, it's 8:09 Eastern Standard Time. Let me bring in Sister Goya right here. Our senior contributor and analyst of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. Let's get a ball rolling here. Okay, here we are. Sister Goya, good evening and welcome.
Hey, how you doing, Mr. So nice to see you again.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Today is Friday. Wow. How was it today? You're trying to give you crazy. You know, when weekend comes, classroom, it can be. One of my said when you don't want trouble, just throw some high assignment. It will be struggling over it, and then there will be a less station. So I wouldn't be surprised if that sort of strategy is also adapted by you.
I plead the faith on that, but in Minnesota, we had yesterday and today of all educators, about from K to universities. Our teachers have been off since Wednesday. We every year the Minnesota Assembly has given us this as a teachers weekend where we go to do workshops and do extra training and do extra workshops. So we haven't had students in classes, university or secondary school since Wednesday. So I've been out of work, bunch of workshops yesterday and today.
Is it sort of routine program annually or on a semester?
Every year it's called Minnesota Educators Enrollment. It's a weekend, which is called the MEA weekend. So it's every weekend, every year rather, in October. I think the last weekend, or the second to the last weekend, but it's in statute. And so the Teachers Union Education Minnesota will have a lot of workshops, and it's teaching everything from the way students learn, the science of the brain, the sociology and psychology of the classroom, and so you go and learn how new knowledge. So you get MDs, neurosurgeons that come and talk to you about how the teenage mind works and how the human brain works, so that you as an educator can know how to be able to engage people and how to teach them, so that you teach them in a way that they connect to your lesson. And so every year we have these 2 days off.
Well, I can't wait the package you're putting together to unleash on this network. But in the meanwhile, we're still going to be tapping because people are listening and there's a need that they listen and listen well. Perhaps they can pick up the good parcels and, apply it to our system. We want a good system to work. So is there a state or some sort of federal mandate? Or is it a state?
It's a state statute. So it's a holiday for educators in the state of Minnesota. Yeah, and
we're going to come to our Liberian politics, but it's good sometimes to open our mind to see what is happening in places here. So this Liberian thing we've been talking over and over here. What has that done since you've been involved here? What has that done? What is the impact? Is the impact being felt? What is the motive of that? What are they aiming towards?
It's actually impactful. Even if you don't go to learn something new, you meet colleagues that you otherwise would not meet. And I'm telling you, it's the entire state, right? And so, for example, I sit on the so Education Minnesota is the union for all educators in Minnesota. So kindergarten through university. And I sit on two committees on that union. One of them is the Legislative Action Committee. So we lobby legislators in our state legislature and also our federal legislators to kind of guide them on legislation that will help educators and help students and their parents. So I sit on that committee, and so we had a bunch of meetings. And then I also sit on the Ethnic Minority Affairs Committee. So those are educators of color. And so we had a workshop. We had some events, and we get together. We talk about themes that we see in the classroom, and how are you dealing with that? If nothing, it serves as a place where teachers go to release and get refreshed and talk to other teachers who will tell you, their own stories and kind of reset you because this education is a tough thing to be in, both for the students and for the teachers. And so if you don't have a place to go as an educator where you can go and refill your cup and refill your tank, you end up running on empty. And when you do that, it becomes dangerous, not just for you, but for the students that are entrusted.
And potentially for society as well, because eventually it becomes liability. And when someone becomes a liability to society, that's not only the parent of that child.
No,
society, the community, and everybody, because they're going to tap into everybody to keep that.
And the most dangerous thing to have is a tired teacher, a teacher who's tapped out. It's the most dangerous thing you can have, because believe it or not, Mr. Soul, when students are in the classroom, they look, people can have horrible stories. Oh, American student did this, did that, student did rude. But I guarantee you this, when you are that authority figure standing in front of those kids, they latch on to every word that you say. You're almost like a semi-god in front of them. And so when you have somebody standing in that space that is tired, that is tapped out, that is frustrated, it becomes very dangerous. Very, very dangerous. I'll tell you one quick story. My own daughter is in the seventh, at the time she was in the 6th grade. She's doing her math homework and I'm helping her with it. And I said, let's do it this way. She said, no, that's not how my teacher says you do it. I said, well, fine.
Oh, Lord. Their business so hard.
Okay, let's do it this way. That little girl argued with me that I was wrong.
Your way.
She argued with me that I was wrong, that the math was wrong. That's not what her teacher said, and she was not going to listen to me. So I go, baby, what do I do for a living? She said, you teach math. And I said, and you're telling me that my 6th grade math I'm teaching, she argued, she refused to do it. So we went to conferences. And I met her teacher, and she went to school and told the teacher. So the teacher went, Mr. Goya, I need to apologize to you. I said, well, I said, your daughter came and told me what happened at home, and I told her that you know more math than me. I said, no, don't tell her that. She said, no, but I follow you. I know what you do. I said, yeah, but don't tell her I know more math than you, because then she will start to not listen to you. I said, but it was interesting that my daughter discounted my math skills because she believes so much in her teacher. And that's the power of educators. My daughter was willing to discount what I know and what I do because she believed in her teacher. So when you have people in those spaces, they hold a lot of power, they hold a lot of authority. And so I think what Minnesota is doing is to make sure that teachers don't get tapped out, teachers don't get tired, teachers don't throw in the rag, because when they do that, then it becomes very dangerous for our students and for our society.
What was she trying to project? What was she trying to actually? What was the message you were trying to get at that point?
Teacher or my daughter?
Yeah, your daughter. What was the point you were trying to?
The point she was trying to make is that
because then why you and I could be,
right. So the point she was trying to make is that there was an authority figure in front of me every day that the district has hired and said, this is the person that talks to you about math. And the other thing is that whatever grade she gets that determines how good she is or how smart she is going to come from the judgment of that lady. And so I am not the one to tell her that she's going to pass 6th grade. It's that lady that tells her that she's going to pass 6th grade. So in her mind, that lady holds a lot of power. And so she can deal with that later on, but now that lady is the one person she got to listen to.
Sister, I don't know how this conversation going to turn out now. It would been going well, but here we are now. We have to deal with no bad bush for a child. Let me bring in the liberal progressive from Sacramento, California. The liberal, good evening. Welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Soul. Good evening, Cece. The Minnesota politician, young intellectual Minnesota politician.
But you saw how the man introduced you, right? Mr. No bad boy for a child before you brought you on.
Yeah, exactly. I accept it. I accept that.
He finally, guess what? He got a name for your guy now. I'm not sure whether he's going to announce it tonight. Samson told he is a mess. Unbelievable, this guy.
Oh, it's different from the LPP doctor.
Oh man, wait and see the hook he added another layer on. Okay, folks, the liberal progressive. Good evening and welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Soul. Thank you. Good evening to you. Good evening, Cece.
How you doing?
Okay, so what we're going to do here tonight, we're going to tap into everybody playbook and then see whether we can recap some of the crazy things ongoing. And you, the listeners, viewer, as you know, we always make part of our, Jesus Christ of Nazareth, this is going to be a crowded fee. How would this end up this evening with the liberal here? Please talk. Today is Friday. I don't have a pacifier here, sissy. Neither have one for you to cry here. You're not like me. You'll do this or do that. You're too old for that. Let me bring in Jonathan Dorcas.
Uh-oh.
I was saying,
Uh-oh.
that's something to a body. And
Oh,
let's
yeah, no,
go
yeah,
to Atlanta, Georgia.
the best thing in Atlanta, I thought they met in California right now.
No, he's in California. I'm talking about what Georgia guy, the guy where
okay.
the man placed the phone call. He's looking for certain figure to run up to get to Pennsylvania Avenue. Let me bring in Amos George, is a senior contributor from the far right side of the Liberian Pulpit.
So, Mr. So, how come everybody face shiny and everybody get nice light in the back? How come my face is not shiny and somehow you manage for my background to be a little bit darker? What's going on with that one?
What do you mean by it? Something, please. I told you. You see, you don't listen. That's the problem with you. Everything you complain and complain and complain. So let's see what we can do it this way. Is it okay?
Yeah, I like that background. Yeah.
How did they change anything?
You alone know that, but in my mind, it says it's in my mind. Let me enjoy myself, please.
Mr. So, do you have a light that you control from where you sit into Samsung house?
Well, why you guys gotta let me enjoy myself? The man I solve my problem. Why you gonna try to put me back into despair again?
You know, the whole thing here is when you see the old lady already want to fall and trying to do anything and just shift that blame, just give that banana because no tea there. At least they can swallow it. They will not choke. Okay, gentlemen, good evening and good Friday. Happy Friday to all of you. And it's always good. Look, I want to say a big thank you to all of you. The commitment, the time, the energy is not wasteful. I'm telling you, I've been receiving multiple phone calls with the kind of conversation that is being kept here, despite of people that have established their political identity, which is good, which is an honest thing to do. But at the same time, the sort of civil conversation that is maintained on this network, it just cannot be overemphasized. The only person they're complaining about is the liberal. Yeah, he's the only person that everybody so far complained.
They love me. The audience love. You will see that again. It's going to be demonstrated here tonight again, and all they're going to do is write good thing about me here tonight. Watch and see. We're just studying.
Okay, so here we are. You know, the politicians, they are doing everything possibly they can't. Where they find comfort to go and then take the train, and they think they can just go behind this, go in this building here, to me, that's facing me here. So they are reinventing, trying to recreate something. But so let's listen here. This is what we're gonna start with here this evening. So let's listen to this one here.
Well, you know, I said for the first 100 days, no vehicle will be stuck in the mud on any major road, and I mean it. Simple. We know very well that we have good partners, that instead of asking them for money, we can ask them for equipment. Because roads are the prime part of our health program. So I'll make sure that every major road, to the southeast, Lofa, to whatever, that we have enough equipment to open up those roads. And even when possible, some of those bad paths, regular bad paths, we can even put cement there. I mean, there's no need for vehicles to be. The road construction right here at Benchi, every county used to have at least an engineer with some workers living in the capital for road maintenance. That's a policy we have to reinstitute, because we are paying much, much more for little. For example, you take place at Lpr. We used to have engineers and technicians. They had public work had their own garages there to maintain it. And it didn't cost much because the equipment was there. When the road is getting bad, they go there and fix them up. And sometimes the whole payroll for a county wasn't more than about $150,000 a year. Today, you take contractors to fix the same road, they charge you $40,000 a kilometer. And after 2-3 months, you're going back to it. It's a waste of resources, and that's the problem that we have.
Okay, gentlemen, this is how we're going to start this evening. Look, that was on class. Senator Darius Dillon created news outlet Class Reloaded. More or less, it's the soundbite, the talking point of a Unity Party, Ambassador Joseph Boyka, and telling us in the first 100 days, cars would not be stock. Simple, no vehicle will be stock. Have good partners. They're going to be given logistic, a lot of ambiguities into this here. But obviously, they're not going to ask him because that's where the breakfast, the dinner, and everything is being prepared, the lunch. And so it's like, everything served. I guess they had one there because there was no follow-up. So we understand that. But let's get to the basis here this evening here. Look, I see this as inventing a political ploy ahead of 2023 here. People just coming and throwing this sort of thing. Let me start with Amos George. Amos George, in the next 100 days, no car, no vehicle, no motorbike, no keke going to be stock. Everything going to go through. That's the voice of former Vice President Joseph Boyka. Is he the one to be making this sort of argument in real war?
Good evening, Mr. Toll, Cece, and Jonathan. But Mr. Sampson Toll will be my resource person tonight. Maybe we'll get along some kind of way on this issue. Because he and I have had some discussion, and personally, he has presented some lots of people on this thing here. But the old man is not honest. That's the first thing, he's not honest. He talked about the first 100 days. October, the election. December, January is the inauguration. And he said within the first 90 days, where will the contact be within 3 months to bring all the equipment into Liberia? Then you look at the roads condition in Liberia. How much equipment he's going to bring that will take care of the southeastern region, Lofa, Bomb, Kidbom? Where will the money be coming from? So they kind of ambiguous statement when you make and people don't follow up, then you question the people that are conducting this interview. He talking about price, acceleration of prices going up. Yes. But open Boga, in the 80s, how much you're paying for a gallon of diesel or gasoline compared to today? Even the maintenance, the part of the equipment, how much you're paying at that time and compared to today. And you want to say 1980, 81, 82, the same price you are paying for gas, is that what you will be paying today? No. So obviously, okay, the cost of living goes up every year. And look at what we are in today, inflation. How about inflation? Everything's skyrocketed. So what is he talking about? Is he being sincere? No. But this is what they throw out there to their supporters. And they say, oh yeah, the woman has a vision. Look at what he's saying. And we have to get away from this thing here. Because if there was a follow-up question, the Omer would have started scratching his head. But he was being spoon-fed, and this is what happened. This is the same thing when 2017. The notion in Liberia at the time was there that George Weah had a contact, the most contact all around the world in Europe. In fact, when they said that when he elected, France was just going to come in.
Okay,
That was the thing they were talking.
in 10 seconds, wrap it up.
Yeah, so the whole the opening statement is not real.
It's
This
not
is
real?
just no. This is he's not being sincere to the Liberian people.
This
Because this is the same thing they were talking about, and they said, "Oh, you know what he was saying this 1 year." But if you want to be fair, then he got to tell the Liberian people what was the engineer that gave him the advice. What the document? He said that at one point he said that he have all the documents, the blueprint. So it's based upon that blueprint. The owner is talking this. So who are the engineer? I will ask Mr. To request.
Don't leave my audience in sort of hanging up there. You're doing old man. There are so many old men around here. Who are
Oh,
you?
I'm talking about he's coming to go JMB, former Vice President Joseph M. Boaga. But I will ask something too. So since something is a mile of JMB for short, let JMB present the blueprint so he can come on Liberian Public Radio to explain to us how the Omer arrived at this place.
When confusion starts, when you and something to tonight, I'm not going to be match commissioner, neither referee. Okay.
He's a wrong engineer. That's
Okay.
why
Let me hold you there. Sese, let me bring you in here, and we're going to grab the pieces here and see and give it a real-time conversation. We know politicians, and you are one of those very good to curve their tone to get their message in any way, form, or context. But we are at a crossroads as a country, and we have gone through this sort of path before, these sort of empty promises, and people, they are not being held accountable. Enough explanation is not being provided. Media on the other side acting lazy, but in this case, he was on a friendly ground, so it's obvious that you're not going to have a pushback here. What was Ambassador Boyka saying? Is he real? Even though there was other clarification, but it has become a pattern when he says something and then he comes back, walk back, and try to restructure it, refix it, and all of that. 100 days, no car going to be stuck. They get a partners, and they're going to be giving them equipments. Who are those partners? Where are they coming from? Nothing specific was pointed out.
So you full disclosure, you know me that I'm not a huge fan of the presidency or presidential aspiration of Ambassador Joseph Boaka. Having said that, though, I think we're making much ado about nothing. Seriously. And it's really sad that ANC folks will be the one asking for records, for proof. We're still waiting for her to provide the proof that Joe Weah paid money. But beyond that,
don't go down. Don't go.
You're asking for a blueprint. We can't ask for your own answer. Not coming with a blueprint.
No, he said he have it.
No, please.
Hold on. Let's
what if Ambassador Boaka had posted this on a website? Like Alexander Cummings did with education policy that is so short, less than 3 paragraphs for an entire nation. Would you be pushing back? Or because you spoke about it? Alexander Cummings provided a website to us with stuff that is so short and with no reference to anything whatsoever. Nothing. But we okay sharing that. And my brother Jonathan shared that in our group. And we got nowhere to push back. So would it have been okay had Ambassador Boaka just posted that on his website and got done with it?
So quickly here.
One second. If you listen to the entire comment, the entire speech, it's almost like when we were back in grade school, right? There is something we all learned in grade school about the volume of a mass of gas and its relationship to absolute temperature. Charles' law, for example, talks about the volume of a gas, of a mass of gas, is directly proportional to the temperature. But it says at the end, holding STP, standard temperature pressure. If you don't wait till the end and you say the volume of a mass of gas is directly proportional, then you know you're wrong. And the man said that it is possible to be done. He said that we can go back to what used to happen back in the day. I am a witness to what used to happen back in the day. We had a branch of public works in Lofa County where those people were locally employed or locally based. And whenever there was a road problem, you didn't have to bring people from Monrovia to come and grade the roads. Those people that were locally based would grade the roads from right there. So the cost was at minimum. That's the point he's making. He's saying it can be done. And he's saying that we have partners that have been giving more money. We've been spending much money for less. And he said to grade 1 kilometer of road, for example, has been cost prohibitive. And so if you have the same donors that are still giving money, that gave money during the Ellington and still giving money during this time, if you can just repurpose that money, where you have, you go back and empower the government, the governmental arm, the public works, to now go back and do what used to be done before, where you have localized employees that do the same work. And so my thing here is I get really a little bit conflicted about my paper George when he comes and he wants to ask for proof every time, but he ignores that his political leader wrote a 3-paragraph stuff about his idea of education reform in Liberia, and nobody asking for anything simply because on a website. Let's be fair to the Liberian people. Ambassador Boaka said it can be done. Let's look at what he talks about and let's stop listening through the lens of politics. Because what he said, I think we're just making much ado about absolutely nothing.
Okay, so here is a pushback before I bring in the Libra, because I think the Libra is taking a deep breath here. And I asked a second question to Mr. George, and I can also throw that as to whether he is the best person to articulate it. He was in a position.
That's a different question. Yep.
Yeah. So
that was not a question you asked me.
Where?
Yeah. No, that's because I did that. That's what I'm doing the pieces by pieces. Mm-hmm. So how can he defend this position to persuade free thinkers? He served in it in the last 12 years. And this is why I always ask this question. We need to know the kind of the real-time relationship with Ambassador Boyka and that of Helen Johnson-Sirleaf. Is he too protecting Helen Johnson-Sirleaf from things that the Liberian people need to know? I'm getting to that because by this time, usually in real-time politics, by this time we should be getting a sense of his agreement and disagreement with respect. And we know he's a vice president. The president ultimately is the decision maker here. If those ideas, what he's projecting, what he's talking about, was this thing shared with the president then when he was the number 2 president? And of course, I do know that popular work, rural development, they were decentralized. And so you always used to see those roads, brotching on the side, getting things fixed, but everything went downhill. So what was the connection with he and Helen Johnson-Sirleaf? Was Helen Johnson-Sirleaf taking cue from him actually? Or is he gradually trying to open up what happens behind the curtain that we didn't know?
We don't know that.
That's a different question, right? Should he be the vessel to carry that? Absolutely not. Right? But again, just come back to the point of saying that if the devil came from hell and said everybody should take in carbon dioxide, oxygen and breathe out carbon dioxide, will we say no, it's not possible? But will he be the best vessel for that? Absolutely not. Those two things are different things. One thing said, the man said that it's possible to be done. I absolutely believe it's possible to be done based on what he said, because we used to go up Lofa and we saw what public works locally used to do. As a matter of fact, one of my uncles used to work for the local public work in Lofa County. So I saw what happened. Now, the other question is he the right vessel for that message? I absolutely believe he is not the right vessel for that message, because he had 12 years to have implemented that. He didn't do that. But those are two different conversations.
Yeah, okay, but it was on purpose. Oh, Pa George, hold on. Let's give the other guys chance here.
Oh, okay,
The Liberal is going out of breath. Sisse is already putting some sort of acid water in the throat of the ANC. So, Dolaket, please don't pass out. We don't have that insurance for anything. This guy, you know him. Let me bring in the Liberal. The Liberal Progressive.
Mr. So, thank you. I'm going to come to this conversation from two different perspectives. And the first one will be ridiculous. That's what I do, and I do it best. First of all, Ambassador Barker said, no car gonna get stuck in 100 days. Did he say where? What's the way you face the road in front of the house? No car getting stuck in there. Well, in the 100. What y'all would say? Y'all say that untrue? Why were you? I'm being ridiculous, of course. So this is how we attack things. He didn't specify. That's fine. So why were you even talking about that? That shouldn't be the conversation on it. He said in 100 days, there'll be no car getting stuck around here. That's fine. It could be waterside, no car, you fix it, fine. Now, let me say this here. Now that I've said something so ridiculous, let me be serious a little bit. I think, and I will do this here, Mr. So, I will talk to you later, but I will say it now that I'm scheduled to go to Liberia here very shortly. And if I go, I think I will get thrown in jail because I'm going to go on a rehab and ask to see the ambassador.
Mm-hmm.
I will ask, and if they say, no, you can't do it, I will ask for an appointment. And I will do so to make sure that I have the opportunity to speak to him.
But he coming here, though. You can start from
Yeah,
here.
but right here, when I go there, people are Judge Lobo, then they will not even let me get close to him. And so I'm not even going to attempt it because these are people that are really spoiling this country. Mm-hmm. The likes of George Lobo and the likes of Anthony Kesselly, those that are young and closer to Ambassador Barker, and they are not doing a good job. Mr. So, this what he and Dr. Barker during the debate, all he stressed was roll, he said. And now he's saying this. Now, interestingly, I'm going to be doing roll tomorrow on LPR with Zopeno as being my launching pad, so to speak. But if you listen to Ambassador Barker he also made reference to the past, just like Zopeno did. So this is something that many Liberians now are gravitating towards. But my point here with all of these is this is unbelievable. In this day and age, you have people like George Lobo, who is so smart. You have other young people around him. Why are they not putting team together that will be responsible for ask the ambassador what exactly you want to talk about today? If you say, I want to talk about it, bring that expert in there, let him have a conversation with the ambassador. And then the ambassador can go and talk about that. The raw issue you're talking about here, okay? He's saying that you pour concrete on.
Yeah.
Where you pour concrete in Montreal? You have money to pour concrete in Montreal for street or in Liberia for street? Like you then the comment then it comes to mind when the former Minister of Public Works, Judy Moore, he made a ridiculous statement talking about, say, concrete love water, forgetting to know the bridge pier, the bridge columns that are used in the water. Those are different mix design than the roadway design of concrete. They are not the same, separate. But he doesn't know this because he's not an engineer. So I'm not blaming him. But the point here, Mr. So, at this time, you would think the fact that Dr. Barker has made it known all over the world that he was parked in the garage and now he's ready to take the leadership. You would think that he will put people together, group them in different disciplines, like Councilor Brownstein did. And then when you're speaking, you will speak to those issues that the information that have been provided to you by each one of the experts group. Then you're not going to come out and say, I'm going to make sure no car gets stuck in 100 days. First of all, the 100-day paving job he's talking about, That means you're going to pay throughout the winters. I mean the rainy season. It's impossible. You can't say those things. And if you say that, that means you're going back to the same idea of selling, Ellen selling our poor Royal in 3 months. It should be above that. But then again, it's the folks that are around him that I'm going to blame for this kind of stuff. But here's what I'm saying that I'm going to do. When I go to Liberia, I'm definitely, and before I leave, you and I are going to have a conversation because you're my brother, besides being an LPR. So if I go to jail, you'll be worried about it. That's for sure. But I'm going to go to the compound. You say you're not care? You will care.
I say, age, man.
Okay, well, whatever. You'll take care of that. But I'm going on a very serious, I'm going to go and knock to the door. This man, if I'm going to be sitting down here running my mouth all day, I think it's about time that I put my mouth where my hand can reach. I should be involved because if he's serious about the rural business and I want him to be the next president of the Republic of Liberia, I think I need to be involved because this is just ridiculous for you, a presidential candidate, to come out of a good subject matter like this, that you can grill CDC and ANC that have no background whatsoever in terms of role and what. When was the last time you heard Comey mention role? Nothing, because you have no idea. And Comey have no interest in role business in Liberia anyway. So he's not going to talk about it. What is he going to be talking about? School. As our sister said, 3 paragraphs about school. So what is that? No, we don't want Coca-Cola. We don't want to be drinking Coca-Cola anymore. Take your Coca-Cola back. Come back to Liberia and talk to me when you start drinking Liberian water. Take your Coca-Cola back to Atlanta. We will accept you as Liberian when you come and start talking to you. Every day, Coca-Cola. We're tired with that thing. Coca-Cola for station business. That's what we're here for. We're here for different things. Mr. So, the ambassador going to be the next president of the Republic of Liberia. So the subject matter you guys are bringing up here, for me, it goes nowhere. Because he said in 100 days, do you know what area there will be no car getting stuck on there? No, we don't know. So that's the question.
All right, thank you. But to some extent, you agree with me. Okay, Dolake. I'm not sure whether this is going to be fixed. The ANC and the Unity Party folks, I don't know where it's going to be, but here we are. You heard the Liberal, you heard what Sisi said, and of course they were making a legitimate argument because your guy also accused we are of doing X, Y, Z. We yet to see something substantial to validate his argument. So now they are trying to reinventing the wheel at your guy. So is your guy talking about rule, or you want to address what both Sisi and the Liberal said?
Mr. Cummings, role is within infrastructure, of course, and it's one of the pillar of the CPP and Mr. Cummings' agenda. But when you spoke about reinventing the wheels, and I start to follow a CDC mandate to government officials, be it for any political party, because it was blanket, government officials. After work, 4 o'clock, you should be at the headquarters of the CDC. And you have agriculture ministry is as far as Somalia Drive. And then you say 4 o'clock. So I don't know how the person will get to CDC headquarters 4 o'clock, because by then traffic will be stopped all over. But it's about reinventing the wheels. When you start to make your headquarters as a student person and absent marking school area because you lack idea, these are the things that bring about it. But to address Ambassador Boakai statement, this one you play, I don't know whether it was a repeat or another interview other than the class reloaded that I did not listen to. Was it?
That's the same. That's just a little portion of it.
Okay. So I think the decentralization aspect is something or thinking political leaders should be thinking about, to decentralize everything that is within Monrovia. It is good. Public works need to be effective. I hope they can start being, I don't know whether he really following it, But I hope they can follow, they can start being proactive right in front of the office. And for it to be 100 days mandate, look, to govern our country, to create the image that Liberia deserved, to demonstrate that you understand Liberian politics and the hiccups in Liberia forward march, your first 100 days should be concentrated on dealing with corruption, creating a transparent environment, and using it as an area that people can get attracted and can build confidence. That should be the priority of the first 100 days. Because with that, you can get road fix. With that, you can get new investment. With that, you can increase your partnership portfolio, and a lot of things can happen. So for it to be on major highways, look, I said that my target and the ANC target, it is not any of the other political parties within the opposition community, because they are striving to show their strength. They are striving to win President Weah, who is the master. And for ANC and Mr. Cummings and someone like me, my focus is on the mischief, the unguided thought, of the CDC leadership. And there where my arsenal will be focused. Mr. Cummings have made it available through the CPP and the ANC, a website that is in a progressive mood. It will be loaded. There was one point in time, there was now a website. You are all asking about a website. Many political parties, many political leaders, standard bearer presidential candidates are yet to provide, or aspiring are yet to provide, such a unique environment over a period of time with the expert. There will be concentration of conversation in this area, and duty will be given. So anytime we appear, we just give synopsis of it. So if Dolake appear, he say, healthcare, Mr. Cummings is concentrated on it. I'm not a student of health. I'm from the background of business, economics, and accounting. So I cannot talk much about healthcare because the person from the health will know the conversation that you have had. But I know for a certainty on the policy level, this ANC government will be concentrated on both the security and the curative measure of healthcare and the preventive measure, but importantly on the preventive prior to giving rise to the curative. These are just literary thoughts that will get explained to the people in the interim, but these things are coming full package, pieces by pieces, to give you a clear look as to how we two get achieve it. That is why you always agree with me. Until you can nip corruption, day one. Until the president can put a foot down, that the legislature can take their own decision, and that he himself can push back on the decision in the interest of the Liberian people and made it public to them. And it will show a lot of delineation between corruption, or the parties of corruption, and good governance.
Okay, I'm going to be going to Amos Joyce here because he was called into this thing here. But quickly here, I didn't hear you calling, you pivoted, which of course is common to politicians, calling boycott name and all of that. Is ANC still, you are embedded with ANC. Is ANC still trying to figure out how to solidify their political grip with the Unity Party? Just said boycott. Is that why you guys have been very careful in calling names and having a conversation? Is there still hope, you think?
Look, for me, as an individual that I've been around politics for a little while, I know politics is all about interest. Politics is about interest. And because it is about interest, there is no specific day, time period that is stated that people cannot coordinate and realigned in politics. It is not a zero-sum game that it is not possible. Even Councillor Gonglo could be a partner to the ANC, or ANC could be a partner to Councillor Gonglo for the forward march of our country, for the good of our country. President Weah could wake up one Sunday morning and say, look, the thing is getting too much. To be honest with you, I cannot make the team. I'm not contesting 2023 election, and I will support Mr. Cummings on the basis that he's going to make sure that he execute the function of war and economic crime code establishment. He execute the issue of anti-graft, and then all of us have our opportunity to appear before a court so that people can know that man said to our president, I was lied on. We're going to accept his endorsement of the ANC. That's exactly what we're going to do.
Okay, quickly, let me, Amos George.
Yeah.
Both Sasset and the Liberal came literally in your esophagus this evening. Do they have an argument?
No. Cesar has a right to say 3 lines of education policy were put out there. But at least ANC have put out 3 lines, and that can be developed. But Councillor Obama had not put out 0. 0 is done there. So I accept the criticism that we put out 3 lines, but those 3 lines can be developed. So I accept that. There's no problem with that. But a councillor expiring or candidate that he support, there's nothing out there about his policy. Maybe if he have it, he can put it out so we can go through it. For the Liberal, he agreed with me that it's impossible to service all the roads in Liberia within 90 days. So the issue of Coca-Cola, for me, is not so. I don't have time. He drink Coca-Cola. He should be proud of someone who has worked to improve that beverage. So, hey, fine. If that is the only thing he got to throw at Coca-Cola, that's okay with me. But the fact remains that the man that he support was not right. Because even he talked about equipment, to how you get the equipment. Within 90 days, can you get money from any partner, the UN or whoever, within 90 days to buy the equipment and send it to Liberia? We all were grown up. We saw popular works in all the counties, rural development, all the counties. And by July, they used to break all the roads. All the roads they used to break into different counties because those equipment were there, but decentralized. Rural development were working. We saw it. But for him to come and say 90 days, I challenge him. And so let's spoke about that. I asked the woman, JMP for document. And what JMP said in the interview said it, that he has a blueprint. If you listen to the interview, he said that he has a blueprint. So that's why I said, then get the blueprint of something and let him look at it. That's all I said. I didn't say I didn't just get let him bring the blueprint. He said it. So I just reinforced what he said. Cesar.
Okay, we will be to them, but
the cost. And Cesar talk about ethics. Well, Cesar, you know it. The cost of things.
I will let you finish before I say anything, but it's not finished.
The cost of things in 1980 cannot be compared to today. No way. And Santi don't know it. Here I was on the show. We talked about one time to build 1 kilometer road. Talking about 1.5 million plus. We talked about it. So today, 1980, it was cheaper than that. Today, no, it's 1.7 million. Something to discuss on the same platform. So when the owner said this, and something to is coming, eating crow, oh yeah, and I read, but then he jumped to come in Coca-Cola. No, his statement was not right. And if you people want to come and reframe it, fine. But those statements was not accurate. Some were accurate that, yeah, we should have machine in those areas those days. That's correct. But under his administration, 12 years, they tried, or the administration, did they try to even establish anything like that within the 12 years? So he's not a messenger. He cannot be the person to carry the message.
okay. I see some sort of disagreement here coming from
just 2 minutes. Just 2 minutes. I think the point I was making here, greater point I was making here is that we cannot be protecting our own criminals. That's what the ANC folks are trying to do. I said the last time on this same platform that Alexander B. Cummings giving a list of his providing a list of his people, his kitchen cabinet, was a great thing. Even though I had problems with some people he had on there. And I did say on the last show that he establishing a website, albeit very minimal information, was a good thing. I did say that. And I did say my guy needs to come out and also have that. I did say that. So, by George, we're not in conflict with that. So I don't know why you're trying to draw that line. No. Hold on. The point I'm trying to make to you here was that you were trying to ask for other people to provide evidence when your guy does not provide evidence. And my point I was making was that what if Joseph Boakai had written this statement and put it on a website? It would have been more than 3 paragraphs, by the way. And your guys only has 3 for a guy who runs an educational institution in Liberia. Has only 3 paragraphs on education on your website where we can push back. And your problem was because people couldn't push back. And I'm saying, well, what if Boakai had posted on the website? Would you have the same problem? Like the guy just got a skeleton. And so the bigger point here is for us to stop the hypocrisy. When our person we love is doing something wrong, we should have the ability to call it out. And so when you call the vice president out, I have not supported the vice president. I've told Tewan going on his group that they need to be forthcoming. I said since he won the LPP primaries, he should have been a lot more forthcoming and put out a lot more names on that. I'm on record for saying that. I'm not out here backing my guy because I don't think my guy is a demagogue. But the ANC people try to make Cummings look like a demagogue, and that is the biggest problem. But Alexander Cummings on the entire thing of road construction, it's only one place on his website. It's on the platform of infrastructure. Only one bullet point, and he says connect all regions of the country through world-class roads. What does that mean? I think JMB provided more information than Alexander Cummings' one bullet point. So you can't be calling somebody out and
let's do it one at a time. Okay, all right. Well, yeah, we're not.
By the way, I got the main website open right on my computer, so I'm looking at it. Look at it right now.
I don't want this to pass by here. Let's give the ANC folks a chance. The website there, is it Alexander Cummings website or is it the Alternative National Congress website? How can we distinguish that? Who's the owner? Is that a political party or is the Standard Bearer website? Because it's alexandercummings.com, correct? The one that was shared. I don't know whether they are modified.
AlexanderBCummings.com.
AlexanderBCummings.com. I believe it is the website that they are using now for the ANC. But let me say that to Mr.
Hold on. Wait for it. You believe?
Yes. There's no other website. There's no other website.
Is there any distinction between Alexander Cummings as an individual and that of the party, the institution?
It should be. It should be. There should be a separate website strictly for the party, and Alexander B. Cummings, presidential candidate. There should be a separate website for that.
So meaning you disagree with what they have there to be like they kind of like trying to I don't know, Creole men say ménager or whatever.
I believe. I don't know what the other motive, but I say I believe there should be a separate website for ANC as a political entity, and that for Mr. Cummings as our presidential candidate. I believe so.
Okay, let me bring your man into indictment on that. Dolake, do you agree with Amos George? He's your guy too. Do you agree with him?
I think they are all in development stages, but let it be established that
what kind of stages? This is why you guys, politicians.
Jesus! I just launched a website that is live and it says still developmental. You already website's already live.
It's been dedicated. You throw it out there.
Yes, but sometimes the context of the conversation when a person laid a premise, as soon as you allow them to go further, you understand the in depth of it. It is not that website.
Okay, you've been with
it is not our website.
Are you still the Assistant Secretary General, or what's your role right now?
One minute, Mr. So I don't want to skip the first conversation. The website, there's a recommendation from this conversation. I'm understanding that there should be a website for Mr. Cummings, and there should be a website for the CPP, because the ANC now is with the CPP.
Okay, CPP.
The CPP is the bigger umbrella. That's the conversation I'm understanding. The question now is as to whether that website is for Mr. Cummings or it's for ANC or the CPP. I think that's what I'm understanding. And what you have to provide is that website is Mr. Ellis Cummings presidential bid website to inform his followers, CPP members, and other peoples about his agenda. That is what it is meant. So the CPP will come out with an official website that you will see the CPP, logo and all of its information and its structure, so that you can be aware of where the CPP is going. But to see our website, like I said, in development stage or stages, because when a website is launched, there are information that keep feeding the website and update information. Even the ones that are running corporation, they also update that information. The ones that are running governmental affairs, they also update that information. So it is in a development stage. I think Vice President Boakai coming on a query is mostly as of what was his advice then, that he could not have done most of the things that he's suggesting now. You understand it? Versus how is it accessible, practical, feasible to do these things that he has spoken about within 100 days. And I'm saying to that, if I were to be given an opportunity to measure what I can do, or the presidential candidate I support and the party can do within 100 days will be mostly focused on corruption, building confidence, and dealing with people who are met on the book corrupt, people who are demonstrating corruption while we serve in 100 days, to tell Liberian people that you can now rely on this system, to invest in this system, to make business with this system, and then we can have all the things that Ambassador Boakai is talking about done in a smooth transition. That is how a person who thinking through Liberia problems can normally measure the situation and realistically find a result.
Okay, guys, let's take a quick break and we will be right back.
Liberia Public Radio, an online platform in collaboration with Sky Radio and TV, presents The Liberian World Today, a 60-minute program that connects the Liberian diaspora to the Liberian nation. The Liberian World Today begins airing this Sunday, October 9 at 12 midday Eastern Time and 4 p.m. GMT. From politics to economics, health to education, the Liberian World Today brings on top guests with different perspectives and potential solutions as they discuss Liberia. Join our host, Alfonso Zienzo, this Sunday, October 9 at 12 midday Eastern Time and 4 p.m. GMT for the maiden edition of the program, The Liberian World Today, on Lpr, an online platform, and Sky Radio 107.1 FM and Sky Communications Liberia Online. Don't miss it.
Okay, there you have it. The Liberian World Today, that's the second edition. The first one kicks off, that was on the 9th of October with Louise Brown, the ANC guard. This Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 4 o'clock local time in Liberia. We'll be hosting Dr. Stephanian Forty, who launched a literacy program recently. It is involved in multitudes of roles, is also the founder of Change Agent, involved in school constructions in Liberia and so forth. In the next segment, I'm going to be having a colleague, a journalist, Magdala Cooper, will also be appearing here. We've got a team group guys are lined up here, coming here. So, okay, let's have a conversation here. Oh, okay. I think.
Can I say something real quick? Because I think I beat on ANC so bad that I have to give them a prop. I please.
No, don't get prop. Why?
Hold on. Wait, let me say what I gotta say for them before you come in. But if I tell my ANC, your blood pressure can go up. I just saw we are 2023.com. If I thought that ANC and that company website was Skellington, we are 2023. I don't know what is below Skellington. I'm looking at that website right now. Somebody just shared it up in the group. The man has 2 items on a platform: Serving Liberia, United by a Common Goal. And both of them got only what the Serving Liberia got 1 sentence, and the United by a Common Goal got 2 sentences. At least ABC have paragraph. So you're winning. You're winning the website war. I'll give you that one.
Okay. All right. So here is the thing here. I try to figure out, yeah, maybe you guys supporting these guys, you supporting these political parties, the leaders that can help. How can George Weah be defeated in 2023? There's a divided house within the opposition as well. I'm not sure how serious they are taking this. There seems not to be a good footing with the ANC and that of the Unity Party, two major political institutions, Gonglo on the other side. I'm not sure. We are hearing ANC is having a conversation gradually with the Gonglo folks. We don't know what's going to be the end result. I'm not sure what the issue with Unity Party is just now. Like, you know what? We got to cry our own cry. We got to do our own thing. Let's have an honest conversation here, gentlemen. Put aside your political affiliations and detach yourself a little bit from this institution here. Let's have a real-time conversation. Can this election, can the opposition take this election in the absence of solidifying their political grade as a group? There's one thing they have in Central. They all agree. One thing I know they all agree is the president, the equivalent to be a one-term to having defeated. But how it is to be defeated, that political agreement is not coming in place. We are not saying that. I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but it's getting kind of a little bit ugly and getting rough here and there. I'm not sure what those fences will be met before the election. Do you guys think Ellis Coleman can win without Joseph Boyka? Joseph Boyka can win without Ellis Coleman? Benana, what his name said, Tiawan Gonglo can win without having one opposition? Is that a case here? The Liberal, let me come to you there.
Thank you, Mr. So. I think at this point you know my position already anyhow, but let me just re-emphasize that. I think we've been on this thing, this type of conversation. We've been on it more than a year now. I thought, and I still believe, that Cumming went into the original CPP without hesitation. He went in trusting, forgetting to know that he was dealing with Liberian politicians who are not trustworthy. They are just as crook as anything else. And coming from Coca-Cola with his belief, in order to achieve something as a group, you have to work together. And as I believe that he went into this with that kinds of mindset, and then out of a sudden, I believe he got stabbed in the back. And that became a very big issue. He didn't believe that it was going to go that far. I believe also that he thought that perhaps the Honorable Ambassador Baka, who was the older person in the room, would have stepped in and stopped all of these things that was happening, because he knew the value of what they have as a group. And that he also, I believe, also knew that if they were not careful, it would have been torn apart. And as a result, it would have been difficult to I believe he thought, that to bring it back together would have been something that would be difficult politically. And in fact, when you brought him on air, he didn't say that specifically, but he mentioned to all of us that you don't go into these kinds of gathering or into these kind of political conversation and waving a white flag. Oh, I want to be vice president. Oh, that's not what we come in here for, he says. Believing, I also believe now, that he thought that the system that he believed in was going to protect him and make sure CPP as a group survive. What he didn't realize is that the political henchmen of Liberia, they were there. And he was not quite prepared for it. And I believe he didn't know how to handle it. As a result, when the insult and everything else started being thrown at him, degrading his character. And then as you guys were talking, I was just reading his retirement program in Coca-Cola 2016. Thing Coca-Cola said about him. a Liberian. That's something that we're all supposed to be proud of. But what did they do? They turned those things around. The intellectual, like young Liberians, as I've always talked about, very intellectual, young, but sophisticated as well, turned those comments around and turned it against him. Now, the question you're asking, Mr. So, having gone through all of that, yes, it is possible. It's possible, but I strongly believe that I don't see coming to this thing trusting anymore. And if you cannot trust them, then I think getting back with them will be difficult. However,
Should you have reason not to trust anymore?
of course. In fact, we look at coming people then calling different people. Doctor, we are here. People that are not even going to speak to Ambassador We Are for life. They're not even going to call his name on any platform they go to. But let me say this: one other thing that I know, with all these period of time that Comey associated himself with these people, and have also observed from way back to see what the Liberian people want. I think if Cummings were to be asked, I believe he will want to put Liberia first. And so I think the ball is in Dr. Honorable Ambassador Baka court. If he were to have conversation with Cummings and say, my young man, let's get out of town. Let's go to Lofa County. Let's go in the bush and have a conversation. Because we are Liberians. You can't take the man to Paris. That's not our place. You take him to Zozo or in your own town, and you call the zoo, and you have that conversation. You'll have that conversation, honest conversation. And then you can even invite your other son, Chenwan Gonglo, and you'll have that conversation as a group. When you come back, my own sister, I believe, and I'm speculating at this time, she might not be in favor of it. Even some of the supporters of Comey might not be in favor of it. But that means you're putting Liberia ahead of everything else. Short of that, I don't see these people coming back together. I think, and this is where, with all the fault that we have on Dr. Weir, that he's incapable of running anything, with all that, if these people do not come together, Mr. So, there will not be any kinds of one-term president in Liberia. Dr. Weir will be re-elected fully.
All right, let's make it succinct. Do okay. Do you think if ANC they have one thing in common, that is that they want the president, the incumbent, out, but yet they can't come to a political consensus. They can't come to that political bargaining, give and take. We want him out, but this is what we need to do to get him out. It's not working. Cummings is now in another collaboration. He wants to be the head. Nobody wants to give up. Biker folks are arguing, well, he served 12 years as vice president, so it's pointless to come as number two. We don't know who Cummings going to pick. We don't know who Biker going to pick. Who is leading on the wrong path here? Can Cummings win without Biker supporters, without Tiawan Gonglo, Councillor Gonglo's supporters? Can he get this? Can he fight his own fight?
Firstly, let me register that the elections, where the election is currently, you have to be strategic, you have to be in the mood, you have to understand where it is and what are the priority, the area of focus to engage in the electoral process. As it is right now, like I said before, politics is about interest. Once you can harness the interest and that confidence can be built, definitely the conversation of who leads and who takes the day will decide itself before the public outcry or condemnation or the information getting to the public. But the focus here now is not just bringing the parties together to defeat or wear. If it was meant to defeat different things or to take different action, I will agree with you as to whether this action is the more urgent that is needed. To take President Weah off the presidency, it is not an ordinary thing. But at the same time, it is not anything monumental that one needs to create and overburden themselves when the political parties are still struggling here and there with each other, even in their own leadership, for its amalgamation to remove Weah. I don't think so. I think that we will continue to have this conversation. We need a Gonglo folks. If we were to get them, we would be definitely glad. If we were to get President Weah to make him to understand that the best thing he can do is to leave the leadership so that we can start this thing at fresh. And if he believes in what we believe in, the establishment of war economic code, if he believes that we need to nip corruption, and if he thinks that he's won, he will avail himself to that decision. He's going to join our bandwagon. We're going to make sure that Ambassador Bwaka sees that Mr. Cummings is energetic, well prepared. He has been in the country for the last almost 6 years, completed. I'm not talking about 2016 and 2017, but as of 2018 up to 2023, so he can really take on this process because he understands that before there be roll, before there be put up from the farm to the market, before agriculture and rest can grow, we first need to attack this our giant opponent called corruption that has derailed our system, so that people can build confidence in our system, so that we can have more good people attracted to our system than 100 million worth of drugs coming to our system. That is the confidence. And because we have that mindset and we understand how to place our priority, they will see it reasonable to lay on our side.
Okay, so let me ask a question. Please just go straight to the answer here. Is there any possible scenario on top of your head, you as an insider of ANC and Alexander Cummings, if they want to see George Weah and the CDC as one term, is there any possible scenario where Alexander Cummings can have a political twist to say, you know what, maybe I can't do it this way here. I need to make some concessions. I need to go in this direction. Is there any possible scenario? Are those conversations taking place behind the scene that we don't know about? What are you laughing for?
I see a message.
Why you can't talk here that you want to do a secret?
What you gonna get to? You gonna do? I see a message for you to discuss behind the scene and whether it is feasible. And when we conclude on it, then as a team,
I'm already seeing the message.
And that's what there are a team of team Cummings come in.
A team.
Where you don't have to pick among a team and claim that all the Donald Trump
Mr. So, Mr. So, we are the two young people. Mr. So, hold on. We have these two young people that have not even taken position in Liberia, and now we see these kinds of backroom deal making. We see them already selling the voting process in Liberia. We see two of them. They said they're from different political spectrum or what have you, but we see them already. For example, Sese could be a maritime chief, and Janitor could be at the foreign ministry, and then they're selling behind us Liberian flags and everything else. Folks, this is what we have. Go on. I just want to point that out.
Well, answer a question, Mr. So. It's important.
I don't see no message here. Maybe you're still in transit around the liberal area. I'm asking.
In a StreamYard, check StreamYard messages.
Okay. Let's see here. Is there any possible scenario? Emma George is a guy who can go straight to the point there. Mr. George.
Yeah.
Is there any possible scenario that Mr. Cummings and the ANC can have a political twist, even if they want to see George Weah as a one-term guy.
Yes. And let me say this. Look, I honestly, my brother, don't want to. I mean, the political incorrectness. The thing is plain and simple. No one political party can upgrade win an election in Liberia now. It's clear.
Welcome to the liberal view. Thank you
no,
for the central, right? Thank you for accepting my view. I appreciate you here tonight.
Something too. This is me. You see me, now what you get. So that just be point blank, clear on this issue. No one political party can win an outright election in Liberia now. What I know, there are conversations going on. Okay, there are conversations going on. So to come and try to frame it well, interest this and that, no, I mean, it's just point blank. There's nothing wrong with you saying, look, it's impossible that anybody right now can come out to win 50+1 election in Liberia. No way. So in other words, to unseat George Weah, people will have to swallow their pride. If I have said it before, if Boakai, Cummings, Gongo love Liberia, and they say they want to alleviate the suffering of the people, they will have to come together at some point in time. If they don't do so, they all will be selfish, and nobody will ever, in my person, to say George Weah is doing it to the people, because I will definitely go off on you. Because if we are talking about the people are suffering today, MTA, 6-8 months, the people are not taking pay.
They seize the money.
Yes, legends. The children in the rural area now demonstrating they are not getting the pay.
It's crazy in our country.
Yeah, legends. They are not getting the stopping. They are not blocking roads and things in the rural areas. So they have to look at all these things. If they are saying that the Liberian people are suffering, but at the same time, nobody wants to make that sacrifice, the sacrifice or whatever, to alleviate the problem by going together to dislodge George Weah, then after they don't love the Liberian people, then they are all in it for themselves.
Okay, let me go to Sissy here because I want to play one here. Hello, Sissy. You know, you heard George, Amos George, not George Weah now. Look, our people, they are not people who easily let go of things, and this is getting to be more toxic. It is already. If these people is serious, because I don't want to come here tomorrow and ANC folks and Unity Party people folks and you Taiwan Gonglo folks, oh, the election was rigged, the election was do that, because you didn't do anything to avoid going second or whatever round. And at the end of the day, the international community and people, they're going to frown on you, and they are looking at us for people to make a mature political decision. It's a give and take. Mature one to be able to come together, even if they see the CDC as a bad apple or as an elephant in the room that it needs to be replaced, and they are not doing anything possibly they can to show that sort of resolve to the Liberian people. Is it time to get this fixed one and for all in order to have an ample time to be able for the Liberian people to restore, for them that confidence to be restored? Or should we just allow it to play out, and then in the injury time of this whole thing and say, okay, overnight some sort of crazy meeting take place, we come together as one party, some kind of alliance? Is it better to do it now or later?
Well, I think, Mr. So, what you're asking me for is what I wish versus what is practical. What I wish is that they all come together now and coalesce. I've said that in my own circles, and I'm going to put it out here. There are people in my circles, when I say my circle, people who support my guy, Councilor Tewan Gonglo, who feel like I don't speak politically the way they expect me to speak, to be hardcore and to just be, and I don't speak that way because that's not how I run. But practically, that's not practical, because Arizona Cummings has put a lot of money into running a presidential campaign, and time, and energy, and blood, and sweat. So has Jose Nyuman Boakai, and so has Tewan Gonglo. And so to ask these people to, without the benefit of either seeing before elections that they cannot compete, or B, after the first round, to just ask them all to sit back, it will be very difficult, especially given what the Liberal said about the first trial of trying to put this hodgepodge together. Having said that, though, there is no politician should fool themselves that they can win upright 50+1 in Liberia, round one. George Weah can. I mean, I'm just seeing the Met website. I was like, yo, man, my kids in my class can create that thing in 20 minutes. For re-election, the president, right? So he cannot even win on first ballot. And so it is incumbent upon us who still have the ears of these political leaders to try to now, because everyone who runs to be president of a republic has to have massive ego, and that's not a bad thing. So we have to now see how can we cajole our own political leaders into knowing that, all right, you're running, but you know you're not going to win first round. You're just hoping out of the group of 20 other people running against George Weah that you come second place. And when you do that, you're going to need, if we come second place as Tiawan Gonglo, we're going to need the Cummins voters. We're going to need to be able to appeal to ANC folks to get out and vote. We're going to need the UP voters. We're going to need to appeal to the Bwaka folks to come out to vote. And I believe that when you are disingenuous about the way you talk about people and their positions, it makes it difficult when you get to round two to be able to convince those people, voters, to come out to vote. And that is the message I've been sending all along. And that's why when I'm on this platform, I always say, if this were a ranked choice voting, my first choice is Councillor Tewonse Gonglo. My second choice is Alexander B. Cummins. My third choice is anybody, whether they are living or they are dead, but George Weah. I will go to the graveside and vote for my mom before I vote for George Weah. Because I have seen the wrong he's done to this nation. A Cummins presidency is way better than a George Weah presidency. A Joseph Nyimabwaka presidency is way better than a George Weah presidency to me. A Tewonse Gonglo presidency would be a deliverance presidency for the Liberian people to me. That is the reason when we come on this platform, sometimes when I push back against ANC, is to be able to give input, because I am not in their circles. I can't call it as an Cummins and say, yo, man, on your platform, you got only 3 paragraphs about education, even though you run a STEM education in Liberia, that you should have enough data. You are the one person in this whole race that can speak about what it means to own the school and run the school and what it means to have a STEM education. I shifted my camera so you see in my room, right? I have a telescope. I have a drone. This is what my kids fly in high school. In a high school math class, this is where I fly. And I'm still looking for my guy, Tiawan Gonglo, or for Cummins to tell me how they're going to incorporate these things in Liberian education so that our kids can compete again. I get it, corruption is killing the fabric of Liberia. But when Cummins takes over, there's still going to be an agricultural ministry. We're still going to be talking agricultural policy. When Cummins takes over, there's still going to be a health ministry. We still got to deal with health. So to say that the biggest thing we got to deal with, we got to focus primarily on corruption, I think misses the point. I think as a president, you ought to be able to walk and chew gum at the same time. My point I'm making here to the Cummins folks, and I know tomorrow my cousins are gonna call me because a bunch of them are ANC folks. They're gonna grind me in my inbox. The point I'm making here is that I don't come after Cassell because I think Cassell is a non-factor. Most times I didn't come after the former vice president because I don't think it's a factor. So when I'm speaking about the ANC and the limitations, take that as my way of saying, yo, I admire your guy. But for the fact that my guy is in the race, I would be with ANC right now.
So
maybe besides the fact that they brought Donald Chia too, maybe that would have been a reason why I won't be with ANC right now. But I think that ANC has the privilege, has the ability, they have the chance to do something different. Stop comparing yourself to George Weah because you are an alternative.
Let me get this here, and we will soon be going here. Should ANC or ANC, they should be playing like a new political version on the black because there's not much of him in terms of Boyka being there. George Weah is there now. We get a sense of who they are and some of their decision making. Is he liberal? Is Kumi not doing enough? Is that a case? Is he not doing enough? What is lacking? Is it a messaging aspect or what? He has all of the resources, the financial power is there, but there are other things that needs to be incorporated in order to be a strong political force. What is lacking?
From my perspective and speculation, of course, that's all we do here now, because I am not an insider, so I'm just speculating. For me, from everything that I've looked at, what is lacking in terms of Cummings' activities is engagement, and engagement in terms of him being able to explain, and he has the ability to do that. He's not George Weah, he's not Samson Toa. He's an educated man. This is his guy that ran Coca-Cola. For Christ's sake, he can explain. But the point here is this.
Even I seen with this same Coca-Cola. So what are you making reference to? It was nothing like meaningful to you.
Yeah, because they pushed my old man one side before that. I came back with the Coca-Cola festation stuff. So Mr. So drop that one. It's anyway we on different subject matter. So let me just say, let me just continue. So the point that I'm making here, Mr. So, is this. Cummings needs to engage. He needs to get out of the bubble that is already being created for him. And that's going to hurt him. He might look good in the eyes of the voters, yeah, but those who, when you come to power, that are going to help you, the international community, if they don't see you as being someone who is friendly or someone who is ready to explain, you might not get the kinds of things you're supposed to get. Now, Cummings, right now, I still say that in order for him to actually do X, Y, and Z, he needs to move around. He needs to make around on the social media platform, number one. And second, Cummings need to, and I think one of the reasons now you're not going to see him, many of the social media platforms, is that list they put up the other day. That list going to be dragging him down. Anytime he appears, that list going to take almost 50% of the time of questioning. And he won't have time to enumerate some of the things that he wants to talk about. As a result, people are saying, he can't go here. And here's another thing. And I think I lay out here the other day. You have Louis Brown, highly educated. He articulates issue well. You endorse somebody. How many TV rounds you gonna do to explain your endorsement?
Yeah, quickly here. I'm not here for this.
So yeah.
Hold on, because
I know I'm right now, so I know you're right to put.
I'm waiting to hear from your guy Joseph Boyka.
Well, Mr. So, we're not talking about Boyka. You asked me the question about Cummings. Why are you bringing Boyka? Let me explain myself.
Okay. I'm in charge. Please hold on here quickly here. We are already running out of time here. Now, I've been saying this over and over. We saw some sort of layout with Cummings. I'm not sure whether Boyka was always saying something from the president. It's a time that we need to have people, policy-wise, who are going to be speaking on specific. I can't just...
You have one of them. Jonathan told us here 3 weeks ago that within 3 weeks' time, there will be no daylight.
Don't put my brother in situation he can't handle. The man is not on the list.
And that's what I'm saying. Why they left his name out? Why they left it? But here's what I'm saying. Because if Jonathan was to be in Liberia, his name was going on a serious note, I believe. If he was to be in Liberia, his name was going to be on that list.
So is that an excuse?
One more point. One more point, please. One more. A central right, the liberal is speaking. One more point. If Jonathan was to be in Liberia, his name was going to be on the list. And the fact that Jonathan's name was left out, this is how Liberia ANC are getting ready to operate against the Liberian diaspora ANC.
Okay.
They're coming. We've seen it before.
The liberal strategy is adding fuel. I was surprised too. I didn't see it because the reason I'm saying this here is this is how the diaspora community are ostracized in the political process in Liberia. Because when you have someone here, so it's like I'm thinking here, are they going to do that the 4 mile of George of the CDC after what it saw Eugene Fagon with his conspiracy theory, and then later on and throw him as Deputy Minister of Public Affairs with no idea what he was going to do. You have a guy here who is on Lpr 24/7, who is going to focus on Africa, and being very articulative of this guy agenda, and then they leave it in out. Sese,
They didn't lean out, Mr.
eh?
I don't want supposed to answer for the man being left out. You see,
No,
they
I'm just
too many in that problem.
but I just saying,
Mr. So, Mr. Toll, that problem. How you talk about leaving the man out in the man right here? You asking me, then you cause to say.
No, I'm concerned because this is how the diaspora community are excluded into the process. I'm upset with the process. We always invest, we give resources. Boyka is coming here. Samson friend Nyombi Kanga is here. Darrell Dillon got his senatorial, and then at the end of the day, they say only the diaspora people they want job. Oh, you want their money, but you don't want them to be. They are qualified, competent people here. They can also add up to the economic growth of the country, but that is not happening. Let's go ahead.
On a serious note, yes, I was disappointed that I didn't see my brother Doloke's name on the list, but I understand. As a political tactician, if I were advising Cummings, I wouldn't have put Doloke's name on the list, not because he's not qualified, but because the mantra, you winning elections in Liberia by the people in Liberia that are going to vote. You already have an ANC global and an ANC diaspora that have a leadership. And so those people are still technically part of your list that you haven't even released because you're in partnership with them, in coordination with them,
wow,
and leading the ideas.
And you're gonna run away from 18 days?
Oh no. But to be very frank, I'm just saying if I was an insider, that is what I would advise my political leader not to do. Because if you brought diaspora and what it looks like becomes like Lone Star. You got a local team, they train all year round, and then you bring professionals from abroad, they come and train one day and they go and play, and they lose the games because they haven't understood the groundwork. So yes, I was disappointed I didn't see a qualified, competent Liberian like my brother Jonathan. But yes, if I were advising Cummings, that would have been my strategy. Don't put Dolake on there right now. Dolake is better. He's in the diaspora. They can coordinate with ANC Global, ANC Diaspora. They still lead there. They can still affect the agenda, influence the agenda. So, on the ground, you need people on the ground that are on the ground to run the campaign. You need people that are on the ground that can vote, that people can see and interact with directly, flesh to flesh, to be able to have that. So if my guy Cummings, Gonglo came out with a list and you put my name on it, I will withdraw my name, really, because I am not in Liberia. Go down to Liberia and do their work.
Okay, let me bring in Dolake
on the list of people running the campaign.
Let me bring in Dolake. Dolake, ANC also got a wing of a Liberty Party. Are they good asset to Mr. Cummings' presidency?
You mean the Musability Liberty Party? Please say so. Don't try to dress it. Don't try to dress it as though it's something worth dressing. Musability Liberty Party. Say it.
Samson told you are not a moderator.
It could be a Nyomli Kanga. I don't know. This he want to be another Kev Hassan on this network, but we will not give a chance.
Then you only 20K that all per month. You'll be all right.
Well, we pull, we ain't get fast, and that one part there, I think he will die inside. Okay, let me ask you. How helpful will Mr. Ability be with Mr. Cummings in this year? Because I think he's one of the person that stood by his side and he took a definitive position. People might not like it, but I mean that's his position. A commitment is very much important in politics.
The Liberty Party is further with the Alternative National Congress as within the CPP, the collaborating political party is still alive, despite all of the odds against that force that the Liberian people thought to put into place to redeem itself from what is currently ongoing. The Liberty Party, along with the ANC and the Unity Party, participated in an electoral process workshop or training these few days. It was not Liberty Party Yombly, it was the Liberty Party chaired by Mr. Musa Hassan Billeted, that the National Elections Commission, the ECOWAS panel met to talk about free, fair, transparent election and to discourage, political rivalry during the course of the elections. So there is one Liberty Party. I've heard you ask what is lacking of ABC currently. The only thing that is lacking of ABC, and I think is of many opposition political parties, is the fact, and we're trying to upbeat ourselves for no reason, though we still need to try. We need to listen to the pieces of advice. We need to take on some of the recommendation. But I think oppositions, particularly Mr. Cummings, is upbeat, not from a bad perspective, but because people are hopeful that he can now become the leader of the nation. There's a semblance of thought in that direction. And so they expect much more of him. And that is why we come on a heavy criticism. We accept it and we work on those recommendations and those suggestions. But I also think based on the missteps of this government, there is too much expected of any opposition, even the one that is not expected of them. The wider population want to place it on the opposition shoulder. And I understand the frustration, and I understand where the lack of confidence come from, for which now, I mean, you put all the burden. It's like maybe your previous relationship in a girlfriend boyfriend business, they didn't work out better. And so the next person that you got now, you take all the problem, all the misstep, and they want to put on the head. I think that's the kind of scenario that people are putting on the opposition. We receive no taxes from anywhere. We expend no taxes from anywhere. Everything that we do will come from the opposition, from Little Roddy, against not having government portfolio, trying to make intervention of the gaps the government is deliberately creating within the healthcare, education, other aspects. But yet and still, we are held responsible for bulk of the thing, even though we are making suggestions. However, we understand that we are playing the fatherly role based on the inept leadership that we have now. All we can assure you is that we will not make our voices or our little action 2-3 continuing work for medical supplies here and donation here, 2-3 intervention in graduate program here. It will not be a huge outcome, but at the same time, we can only let you know that based on our track record, based on our standard, based on our leadership style, that we can stand before a court and say we are not defeated, we are not convinced that we committed this act, we can defeat you, and the global Magnitsky can record you that indeed you were using the code room for other reasons. That is the kind of thing they do to build confidence.
I wouldn't be surprised when Dolake becomes one of the principal negotiators for ANC, because he knows how to spin the ball. He knows how to get to the play. But this is going to be our take-home message here. It works the last time around, but can it work this time? Can it resonate with the Liberian people? Who is he? Can he? Is he convincing? Say, after saying all of those ridiculous things, let me play A and then we can spin around A before we go for the rest of the evening.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. The people let's go out.
Okay, we really don't have much time here again. Look, guys, is that Chairman Moloba Molo for the CDC?
Yeah.
Is this guy, can he sell the president's agenda?
No. Let me say Mr. So let me just say the quick. You did ask a question about comment. Let me say this, and I was on the platform one time. I said one of the supporters, I believe he claims to be one of the most supported coming, no other person. And he said it was not campaign time. And I said that at this time, Mr. Cummings, the ANC need to start more engagement. And he said, what's in campaign? I said, it doesn't have to be campaign time, because what I expect is that they got so many people. They can organize people to go to places like Banga, Sanikole, Zoso, and speak on specific issue, education. We saw the mass failure of people in Wyatt. All those things, you can organize people to go in this area and speak to the young people. You're not running the campaign. You're only telling them, if you or people get the power, you will do the thing different from those are in power. Those are the engagement I continue to say that Mr. Cummings should start doing. But some of the folks who say that, they take, oh no, that not campaign, you're not this and that. This is something that get to me about some of these folks, because they're the only people saying that thing that
don't let your cholesterol go up now, because
they're the only people that own the ANC. And I say no, because this is how politics works. Mr. Cummings supposed to be engaging in not just in Morovia. Morovia is not Liberia. Go into my era on the plantation. Organize the police. Let him speak to the people.
Okay.
So these are some of the things I'm seeing, and he need to engage more than what he's doing now. Now, I think when he go back, they should start taking this man into the rural area to engage the people, explaining the policy, what he will do different from this government. On the issue of Molu, I'm sorry. Molu has lost it. To defend the CDC now is difficult because they have a record. They have a record. When Joe Noah, he was in the Senate, there was not anything much to talk about. But now he has a record. That Molu then himself, how can Molu go to explain the CDC policy? When I asked you the simple thing, I said that the person was giving Joe the women that he was sleeping with them.
All right, I don't know whether it matters to our Liberian voters, because sometimes they don't look at people at Gen platform, they don't look at anything. Once they're for you, whatever you do here. Dolake.
Yeah, Malu's statement, and that's why I started my conversation about the mandate of the CDC chairman. I also learned that Bill Tuari or sponsoring the CDC heavily with the corrupt money. And so yesterday or the day before, Malu has sent to the new managing director for $56,000 as a support to the CDC. He sent his emissary and they were turned down because it was the very lady that he used to have the conversation when he talked about his liquor store. So she rejected it. That she's not going to give that money.
Well, too now.
Eh?
I said our liquor too.
I
mean, maybe she drank the liquor in her now.
Already in her with the program here. But importantly, when you have started, or when you start to see a political party having a press release that every government official should appear on the party ground 4 p.m. And you know that 4 p.m. is the exact time that government workers can knock out from work. So even if you knock out 4 p.m., you will not be at the headquarters 4 p.m. So inefficiency is coming in because people got to cut the job short in order to meet up with the political mandate of the CDC compound and be at the compound 4 p.m.
Okay. Quickly, we're almost out of time here. Sissy, before the Liberal saying, can Molu articulate, can he restructure his message based on what we heard past time? How can he, what sort of magic can he perform?
Well,
or probably it doesn't matter to the voters.
Yeah, but that's the point I was trying to make. If I'm understanding your question, is Molu the right guy to articulate the policy of the George Weah government? Absolutely, yes. I'm looking at Weah 2022 right now. There's only 3 sentences there. Molu was a pastor before. The man I read Bible for a long time. He can preach. There are 3 sentences that make him preach about. There is nothing that a man has to defend based on the agenda that's on Weah2023.com. So it's not a hard work. Look, here's the thing. When you set the bar very low, then anybody can meet it. The committee for George Weah 2023 has set the bar so low that Molu, even in a drunken talk, can meet it. And you know, and I want to end this quote. I don't usually quote Yeke Koluba, but I want to end this by quoting Yeke Koluba because this is really apropos. Yeke Koluba said, if they put people in plastic and then wrap it, somebody will say that imported donor. And what happened we had to call it man Moru right now. So yeah,
The liberal, we are already out of time here. What's take on this? We're not hearing you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Okay. So my take on this is that first of all, if George Weah want Monuba to be the face of CDC, he's going to have to reestablish the trust. Monuba Monu can win his election. He has done it before. He has the experience. And the fact here, Monuba Monu know how to organize. He know how to bring people together. Now, the point here is, right now with that liquor talk issue, it's going to be difficult for people that he's want to bring together for them to trust him. And it's going to be easy for the insider that want to fight, that want to distance themselves from Monuba Monu and want to peel George Weah away from Monuba Monu. It's easy for them to connect those. But it is George Weah who's going to have to establish trust and allow the people to know that Monuba Monu should be the face of CDC. Once that happens, it'll be very easy.
The best of commentator, analyst.
What campaign Monuba was the chairman during 2017?
Who's that?
No.
But
No.
the paper said Monuba won election.
It was McGill.
Okay.
Yeah, but
before I go, I just want ANC people to know your man say a bias. I quoted one of your representatives today in my closing statement. So your man say a bias to you.
Sissy,
one other thing, Mr. So
you're trouble.
I will be doing a show here tomorrow evening on Zopen, to be specific, but connecting the road connectivity issue in Liberia and how the so-called Southeastern seem to be failing the Southeastern leadership, from the president all the way to the bank governor, who are all from the Southeastern and have failed the Southeasterner. And that will be the conversation here tomorrow. And we will also bring in just the stuff you play here from Ambassador Bakai. We'll bring that in as well.
So you're going to Liberia, so you want to Tyler was open or not?
No.
Yes.
But yes, I think you know who I am. For me, you know, I criticize when it's necessary. If even if I criticize you, but you do something that I like or something that is good, I praise you.
I think
I'm not going to hide it.
Point was very strategic, and he doesn't have anything to lose. He's good for the next 9 years. So
yeah,
CDC kicking out today.
I see Special Assistant to the Senator Samson Bito, Special Assistant to Senator Zopeno announcement coming also on eMansion website.
Oh boy,
Special Assistant a job. But I wanted to chip in just in a 30 seconds about what is going on with this, our enumerators. You know, to have all of the time, I cannot mention about it. I feel guilty.
No, I didn't mention about it.
Yeah, okay, thank you, Pa George. But enumerators are quite important. We have to build up to modernity. You cannot take people, it is not in a pay, but it is implied. But you can't take people and keep them in workshop and training for in the morning to in the evening, and then, for heaven's sake, man, and you want to impersonate that knowledge so that they can go prove it out there, and they don't have food and water to drink, and you say it's not in the budget.
They just strike.
I don't understand.
But this thing happening even in the education sector too, because I know they've taken educators to KRTT for days and weeks. They gotta carry their own food to feed themselves while they're there. So,
okay. What, gentlemen? Let me just check on something here quickly. I will get to you, Jonathan. Let me do some quick adjustment. I don't want us to commit and we can't do it. Well, the best of political team, commentators, analysts, we want to thank you so much for
what kind of secret you and Jonathan get now?
Something told you're becoming to be very disruptive here.
No, but you say, Jonathan, I will get. Why you can't tell me or tell Sissy or tell Immigrant that you're going
to the network tomorrow.
Okay, let me just say, I don't have secret. I'm not like you who in society with. Janitor want comments. We want for comments to come. Can you tell Boyka to come here?
No, we don't want coming. We don't want coming. We don't want coming.
Not you. Why you go? Not you. What do you mean by you don't want coming?
No, but you say you should say it to everybody. Now you say that you say you know what
Can you,
it for
tell-
everybody. Now.
can you convince the Boyka folks so we can have it? I want to know.
I don't know these people. They don't know me. I'm an admirer. That's also I have no control. I'm not George Lobo.
John Lobo, I try to help the puppy.
He only admires the 100-day plan. He doesn't know.
I need to read this guy number already.
I don't know these people. They don't know me.
I will tell Steven Johnson.
I will tell
he'll
Joy
call you.
Lobo, Stephen Johnson, then to call you. You get your son, Henry Costa. He's
But the people will be right in Philadelphia.
I don't even know Henry Costa. He doesn't even know me.
But the VP will be in Philadelphia. I can make him to call you, Mr. To. I can tell the VP to give you a call.
Yeah, whenever they're ready, they call me. I'm here.
Okay, I'll tell the VP to give you a call.
My man, we make all the call. We try with the CDC, all the senator, your own man, Fanita, and Fonati Kofa, then all the other we say.
Fonati is the chair of the re-election committee for George.
Yeah, I saw that list. I saw that list.
Look, but don't look. Politics is a very slippery slope. Don't you guys shouldn't play. What is going on in the opposition? Instability, Nyomli Kanga, Joseph Boyka, Ellis Kuhlman.
And that
this together.
This is a thing that really concerns me. Having Musa ability, Musa ability on ANC and having Falanti Kofa in CDC, and we don't have any of those people in Boyka.
You want your own road too?
Thank you so much.
I told you to start going there. Boyka who went and took the group of 77 and gave them
way back story.
I told you don't go there.
And then you have CDC with Joa on one side, James Bunny on another side, Ellis started on Hinge on his way.
Yes.
Look, that's the kind of atmosphere that you see when the politics is about to ring. That's why
I'm waiting for the next sanction list to drop because some of the people that are also on the team they will fall off.
Oh, yeah, they will fall off. So you know it. They will fall off.
Okay.
You know that Mr. So yes, the breaking news. Seriously.
All right. Okay. So you have tune in for my show tomorrow, I beg you.
We'll be there.
We'll be there. They fired the whole again at the Ministry of Information.
For what?
The bossman and the bossman, they're not talking.
They're coming for again.
They're not talking.
The people from Atlanta, Georgia, they are always
trouble. But let them put how to call it man by. Let them carry Fagon by. I finished 14. You can call back and I'm getting much. I'm going down the hill.
All right, guys. Good night. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. All right. Well, folks, that does it. I'm Alfonso Zain, so top of the Liberia Sunday at noon Eastern Standard Time. I will be playing host to Dr. Stephanian Fortit. Fortit are going to be my special guest here, and that program will be aired live on Sky FM in Liberia in an exclusive. I'm going to be hosting Dr. Stephanian Fortit on the program The Liberian War Today. Follow that, we're going to be having a journalist, and follow that on the 6th, we're going to be having Madam Mandela Cooper going to be appearing here on this network. And the list is growing and growing. As time go by, we might, increase, but for now it's once a week, and that is only on the Sunday. Until then, I'm Alfonso Zain, of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. This building is the building that has been tousled over. That's the fortified executive mansion. Who's going to be on the airfloor comes 2023? The decisions is with the electorates. We'll wait and see. Our job is to have the conversation in an honest fashion. We're not going to disrespect people. We're not going to humiliate our guests, be it from the opposition, from the ruling establishment. And again, our message has been out there to the ruling establishment. We had a conversation with the chair of the CDC USA, and we are still waiting to send their contributor here so that we can have it at equilibrium. They will also defend, they have the opportunity to defend the government and the party that they support. And as soon as we get that confirmation, be it he or she, will come here. We are expecting a person from Mandela Kupo as well. So we are open. Liberty Party, you are at liberty to send in your contributor. We are not paying them. They are doing it at pro bono for the good of the country. And this is why these men are here every evening. That's the commitment. That's what we sign off to do. I want to thank you so much for your time, your comments, your tweet. We usually go back to review these comments. It helps us a lot. You can agree with all and disagree with all. These are our opinions and views that we are expressing. But the level of civility that is kept on this network, that is important. And that's what we want our politicians to do. They can agree and disagree. But the reason they have what they call conference, roundtable conference, is to sit down and put their ideas together. They must be convincing. They must be persuasive. But sometimes it's alarming and disturbing. Even people that speak for these political parties and the establishment, their tone, their language is scary. It's so fearful. It doesn't give hope. But that's how the media works today. Everybody try to take a definitive stand to support and defend the one they trust and believe in. But we here at Liberal Public Radio, we intend to bridge the gap and create a playing level field, making information more proportionate and keeping it in a safer context for us to have a genuine conversation for the good of our country. Thank you so much and have a pleasant evening. Bye-bye.
It's not your secret index. Your money long, don't even want to see you. At your job side, they call you good for nothing. I say in your family, they call you useless. But one day, Jesus will make you useful. So let it go. For how long will you hold? How long will you hold? You've been holding on for too long now. You are holding on and making Jesus to run on. So let it go. It is painful, let it go. Oh yeah, mama, let it go. Let Jesus take. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Oh, let it go. Let it go. Lord, help me let it go. Help me let it go, man. Oh,